You know, most of the decisions you make every day, they aren't actually decisions. Not really. There's this hidden system kind of running your life in the background, a powerful force that's calling the shots from the second you open your eyes.
All right, let's really get into this. Just picture your morning, right? The alarm goes off. You open your eyes. The day's brand new, full of possibilities. Seems like any other day.
And then it happens. Before your feet even touch the floor, what does your hand do? It reaches for your phone. It's just a reflex, right? An action you do without even thinking about it. But have you ever actually stopped and asked yourself, why? Why that?
You tell yourself, oh, I'll just check for a minute. We all do it. But then you look up and whoa, an hour is just gone. Poof, vanished into this black hole of notifications, emails, and that endless mindless scroll. I mean, does that sound familiar to anyone?
And here's the kicker. This isn't some random thing. It's not about you lacking willpower. Nope. What you just went through, that's a perfectly designed system, a loop, and it's running your life on complete autopilot.
So, okay, let's pull back the curtain and see what's really going on here. We're calling this the invisible loop. Why? Well, because that's exactly what it is. It's this repeating pattern that's running just under the surface, just out of sight.
Yeah, this right here perfectly shows that morning routine we were just talking about. See? You wake up, that's your trigger. You grab the phone, that's the action. Then you get that little hit of dopamine from all the new stuff on the screen, which, leads to distraction. And then what comes next? Guilt for wasting all that time. And then you do the exact same thing tomorrow. Look, I really want to make this clear. This whole pattern, it has absolutely nothing to do with being lazy or unmotivated. Seriously, think of it more like a behavioral loop, like a little computer program that's just running silently in the background of your life, doing its thing without you even realizing it.
So why is this loop so dang powerful? I mean, what's the deal? To get that, we've got to look at the science, at how your brain is actually wired. So yeah, let's get into the neurology of it.
Okay, so scientists have a name for this whole thing, the habit loop. It's basically a core pattern the brain uses to put behaviors on autopilot. Why? To save mental energy. It's just your brain's natural way of creating shortcuts for everything. And this loop, it's actually pretty simple. It's just three parts. First, you've got the cue. That's the trigger, the thing that tells your brain, okay, time to go on autopilot. Then comes the routine. That's the actual thing you do, whether it's physical or mental. And last, you have the reward. This is what tells your brain, hey, that was good, let's remember to do this again. And there's a huge misconception about this. That reward, that rush of dopamine, it's not really about pleasure. It's about anticipation. It's the, ooh, what's next feeling. It's literally the same system that told our ancestors, hey, remember where those good berries were? It's a survival thing, shouting at your brain, pay attention, this is worth repeating.
So what's the big deal? What happens when this process just runs over and over? Well, your brain, trying to be super efficient, has basically automated huge parts of your life. And here's the thing. Its main goal is to save energy. It's not designed to make you successful or help you hit your goals. You don't wake up and consciously decide to procrastinate, right? It just kind of happens.
All right, so we get the problem now, right? This system is powerful, and a lot of the time it's working against what we actually want to do. But what if we could flip the script? What if we could take control? That's what this next part is all about, hacking the system. Now, the big insight here is that just trying to power through with more willpower or getting more motivated, that's a losing game. You can't just fight the loop head on. The smarter way is to stop fighting it and start re-engineering it from the inside. And the main principle here is super simple. It's all about friction. You want to break a bad habit? Make it harder to do. Increase the friction. Log out of your social media apps. Put the junk food way up on the top shelf. And for good habits, you do the opposite. You make them easy. Decrease the friction. Leave your book on your nightstand. Lay out your gym clothes the night before. Simple. Okay, so let's start with the trigger, the cue. If you want to break the loop, you gotta disarm that thing first. And the easiest way to do that? Get your phone out of sight. Put it in another room, especially when you wake up. Turn off all those buzzing notifications. Just remember this, no cue, no loop. It never even gets a chance to start. All right, next up is the routine. And there's a golden rule here. You can't just delete a habit. It doesn't work like that. You have to replace it with something else. And the trick is to start ridiculously small. So if your go-to routine is to procrastinate, replace it with just 5 minutes of work. Just 5. The goal here isn't perfection. It's just about starting to build a new, better pathway in your brain. And finally, let's talk about the reward. Let's be honest, our brains are just overstimulated. We're constantly chasing those easy, cheap hits of dopamine. But you can actually recalibrate your whole reward system. How? Set some simple rules. Try a no phone for the first hour of the day challenge. Or maybe try a low dopamine day. No binge watching, no endless scrolling. What happens is, the normal rewards in life, like finishing a chapter in a book or just going for a walk, they start to feel really good again. So once you really understand these 3 pieces, the cue, the routine, and the reward, you get the power back. You can actually start to consciously design your habits. And that's the turning point. That's when you stop being controlled by the loop and you start controlling it. You know, it all really boils down to this one simple but really powerful idea. Change your loops and you change your life. It's not about the few big, grand decisions you make. It's all about the quality of the little loops you run every single day.
I mean, really think about that for a second. Who you're going to be in 5 years has way less to do with some big goal you set today and everything to do with the small, automatic things you do every single day. These loops, they compound. They build on each other over time, for better or for worse.
You know, we get so caught up asking ourselves, do I have potential? We think of it as this big, abstract thing you either have or you don't. But what if that's just the wrong question to be asking?
Let's try a different question. The real question is this. Are you trapped in a loop that's hiding it? Are you stuck in a set of these invisible loops that are stopping your potential from ever coming out? Because here's the good news. Once you can see the system, you finally have the power to change it.